Hat Hashem, Parashat Vayelekh. This week's parasha, the shortest parasha, I think, right? And it starts on the words Vayelekh Moshe. וידבר את הדברים האלה אל כל ישראל. Rashi is a very exceptional Rashi. וילך משה וגומר. What does Rashi say? Rashi is a commentary. He wants to comment the pasuk. There's like a question in the pasuk. There's something not understood in the pasuk. Rashi says, וילך משה, and his comment is, וגומר. Okay? אז באמת, מה רצה להגיד רש"י? What does Rashi want to say? So they say, usually, everybody came to Moshe Rabbeinu, as opposed to Shmuel HaNavi. Shmuel HaNavi used to go to the people. He never slept in one city 2 days in a row, 2 nights in a row. Shmuel HaNavi would go from city to city and would sleep only one night in each city, right? And why did he went for? To teach Torah. He was teaching Torah to everybody. He had his own tent, his own pot, his own food. He never went to anybody. The Gemara says, מי שרוצה ליהנות, if you want to profit out of others, ייהנה כאלישע הנביא. You can do like Elisha. The Shunammite brought him in the house. She gave him half of the house. She gave him food. She gave him a bed. She gave him a desk. She gave him a menorah. ומי שלא רוצה ליהנות, if you don't want to profit out of others, לא ייהנה כשמואל הנביא. שמואל הנביא took nothing, absolutely nothing from nobody, right? But Moshe Rabbeinu, he was a melech. ומלך שמחל כבודו, אין כבודו מחול. He was not allowed to go to the people. People had to come to him, right? So how come over here, Vayelekh Moshe? That's what Rashi says. Vayelekh Moshe vegomer. Stop right here. If you're asking the question why, what's the next pasuk? Vayomer alehem. He's telling everybody, Ben 120 shana anochi hayom, lo uchal od latzet velavo. That's it. I'm not allowed to go out and come in. Go out and come in. Why? Is it, Rashi says, Yachol tashash kocho? Is it because he's 120 years old man, cannot go to the people, it's too far. It's 12-kilometer radius of the camp. Who can walk 12 kilometers? It's a lot. You're a mile. To walk a mile already is half an hour almost, right? So 12 kilometers. No, Rashi says, בכלל it's not the case. אלא איני רשאי, I'm not allowed, שניטלה ממני הרשות וניתנה ליהושע. Hashem does not let me anymore to go and teach Torah. I cannot. The permission was taken away from me, was given to Yeshua, right? So why are you going? Says the Midrash, he's going just to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you very much for all those years together, 40 years in the desert. Oh, I remember you guys, you were little kids, you came out with your parents passed away 40 years already, right? And now you're going to go to Israel, you're going to be lucky. And I'm just here to say goodbye. I'm just here to say, Tzedchem l'shalom, go enter Israel and do what you have to do. Right? Be'emet, the Midrash says that Moshe Rabbeinu says, okay, I cannot teach Torah, so let me go at least learn Torah. You cannot teach. Okay, teaching is one part of Torah, but you can study. He went, alach le'ohalo shel Yoshua. He went to the oil Yoshua, and then Yoshua was sitting, and people was telling him, hey, your rabbi is here. Where's the rabbi? He's looking, Moshe Rabbeinu, wow, kara begadav, he tore his clothes, chas v'shalom. What? I'm teaching Torah and Moshe Rabbeinu, you're here, I can't, Mechila, I can't. They said, no, I'm not allowed to teach. I'm not allowed to teach, right? He was sitting there and he was not allowed to ask questions, not allowed to answer, right? So then at the end of the class, Moshe Rabbeinu says, this is not life. If I cannot teach Torah, right? What is life all about? Teaching, right? Lilmod al menat lelamed. Adam la'amal yulad. You're born la'amal. מה זה amal? Amal means hard work. Amal is ראשי תיבות ללמוד על מנת ללמד. The hard work in life is to learn to teach. This is the ultimate goal. Okay, not everybody is meant for teaching. Not everybody could teach, right? But this is the ultimate goal, right? Moshe Rabbeinu, this is what he did his whole life. Now he cannot teach. He can just sit and listen. So I cannot ask questions, right? Famous story in Baba Kama over there that Rav Kahana by mistake killed somebody. So they told him, his Rebbe told him, you must go to Galut. Must go to exile. So go to Eretz Israel. He lived in Bavel. He told him, go to Eretz Israel. Go to Israel. Over there is Rabbi Yochanan, and you're going to learn Torah. But in order to have a kapara, you cannot open your mouth 7 years. This is your kapara. You're going to have questions. You're going to have answers. You're going to have contradictions. you cannot talk. 7 years you cannot talk. Rav Kahana. So Rav Kahana goes to Bavel, and he comes, and Rish Lakish sees Rav Kahana. He says, wow, Aryeh alami Bavel. A lion came from Bavel. He goes to Rabbi Yochanan and says, whoa, tomorrow you better prepare your shiur very good. You know, this rabbi is going to ask you questions. You're going to be embarrassed in front of Talmidim. Rabbi Yochanan was sitting all night and was studying. Says the Gemara over there, Rabbi Yochanan had 7 rows of Talmidim in front of him. The most Chachamim were sitting on the front, less, right? And Rabbi Rish Lakish comes, and they make him sit right in front of the rabbi. So he's sitting there the first day. Rabbi Yochanan speaks. He doesn't say anything. So Rabbi Yochanan tells Rish Lakish, Aryeh, this is a shual. This is a fox. This is not a lion. That's Aryeh. He doesn't answer. I'm not sure if he understood my class. The next day, Rabbi Yochanan says, okay, you know what? He's taking extra place over here. Put him in the next row, in the second row. So they came over, Mechila, you know, you're the first day. We wanted to give you kavod, but, you know, you're in the second row. Sits in the second row, cannot open his mouth. And he's exploding in himself, but he can't. He's not allowed. His Rebbe told him, you're not allowed to talk. 7 years. The next day, Rabbi Yochanan says, put him in the third row. For a week, he was going from the first to second to third till he reached the 7th row at the end of the week. Then he exploded. He says, you know what? I don't care. Kapara, not kapara. I cannot take it anymore. I'm going to explode. Comes to the class the 8th day. He goes to Rabbi Yochanan. Could we just take back the shiur a week ago? He was speaking. Yeah. Rabbi Yochanan repeats it for him. He's asking him a bomb question. Rabbi Yochanan doesn't have an answer for him. So he tells, oh, maybe the answer is like this. Wow. Yeah, okay. You know, tomorrow sit 1 row back, up front. They bring it back 7 rows. The end of the Gemara says not only they brought him back all the way in the front, at the end, Rabbi Yochanan asked he should sit next to him. And they gave him a pillow next to Rabbi Yochanan, right? The end of the story, he died. Rabbi Yochanan did the Chat HaMetim. I don't want to go into the whole, but to tell you, when you're full of Torah and you cannot give over, like you're burning, you're exploding inside. You can't hold it back. Torah is not something you can hold back. It's going to go out of your ears, of your nose, of your mouth. You cannot hold Torah back. That's if you fill yourself with Torah and you want to teach. That's Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu comes to the shiur of Yeshua. He's sitting there. He cannot talk, right? En lecha reshut, says Rashi, nitla mimeni harishut. Hashem took away my permission. If Hashem tells, oy va'avoy lecha, this is not Rav Kahana that his Rebbe told him, talks for 7 years. He couldn't hold himself back for 7 days. This is Moshe Rabbeinu when Hashem says, you cannot talk, you cannot open your mouth in front of Yeshua. You can explode. Says Moshe Rabbeinu, you know what? Lama li chaim, I don't need to leave anymore. I don't want to leave anymore. I saw they bring over from Rav Ovadia, the last days they spent in the hospital. He passed away in the hospital. The last days, he told his sons, that's it, I cannot learn. He was crying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, take his neshama. He was crying to Hashem, if I cannot learn Torah, cannot teach Torah, that's it. He asked Hashem to take his neshama away. And 3 days later, he passed away. Can't. If you cannot teach, you cannot, right? So this is the parasha, right? Telling us how much is important to give over. Not stop to learn, also to give over, right? And for sure, the learning part. So I found an interesting question that they ask, right? So the Rambam, first of all, I want to read to you Rambam. The Rambam says like this, in 2 places, in Ilchos Tshuva and Ilchot Melachim. The Rambam, Ilchot Tshuva, Perek Tet, Halacha Bet, writes like this, ומפני זה נתאבו כל ישראל נביאיהם וחכמיהם לימות המשיח. Why all the big rabbis, the chachamim, the tzaddikim, the nevi'im, why they were speaking always Yemot HaMashiach, right? They were not Chabad. We want Mashiach now. So why is everybody speaking Mashiach? What's the Yemot HaMashiach all about, right? He says, you know why? כדי שינוחו ממלכויות שאינם מניחות להם לעסוק בתורה ובמצוות כהוגן. Because even though you live in countries that you're free, they don't hate you, they're not the Germans, they're not the Spanish Inquisition, but still, you were not able to learn fully Torah as you wished, right? וימצאו להם מרגוע וירבו בחוכמה כדי שיזכו לחיי העולם הבא. So you can sit and learn quietly. איש תחת גפנו ותחת תנתו, like in the time שלמה המלך. That's why we're speaking about the Mashiach time. Mashiach time is, there's not going to be shibud malchuyot. There's not going to be any more goyim oppressing the Jewish people and giving them so many problems, taxes, this, that. You can sit and learn b'mnucha from morning till night. That's why we want to come to Mashiach. That's why we want to reach there. That's in Ilchot Tshuva. The Rambam repeats it in Ilchot Melachim, Perek Yud-Bet, Halakha Daled, and he says, ולא נתבוא החכמים והנביאים לימות המשיח, לא כדי שישלטו על כל העולם. Do you think the Jews want to control over the world like the Goyim say? The Goyim say, oh, the Jews always control the world, they control the economy, they want to control us, they want to overcome us. Says the Rambam, that's not the ultimate goal. ולא כדי שירדו בעקום, ולא כדי שנשאו אותם העמים. We don't want to be praised. ולא כדי לאכול ולשתות ולשמוח. It's not to eat, to drink quietly, peacefully, whatever you want. Everything is going to be kosher. Everything is going to be glad, bet Yosef. No. This is what Yemot HaMashiach all about, says the Rambam. That's not Yemot HaMashiach. אלא כדי שיהיו פנויים בתורה וחוכמתה, כדי שיזכו לחיי העולם הבא. The reason we want to reach Yemot HaMashiach is to be able to study, to be wiser, and to get to Olam Haba. In parentheses, this is where the machloket, the Rambam and the Ramban. The Ramban says, you know what's Mashiach? Mashiach is like Mashiach comes, that's it. Chaye Netzach, Ale Adamot, we live on earth. Chaye Netzach, we study Torah the whole day, we're free, we don't have anybody to oppress us, that's it. Comes the Rambam, says, no. The first 1,000 years is going to be studying Torah. But after the 1,000 years, he says the Rambam, שיזכו לחיי העולם הבא. We're going to move to another world, Olam shel Neshamot. So that's the biggest machloket, the Rambam and the Ramban. The next world is what? On earth, up there, that's machloket. Anyways, what's nogea to us over here, right? Huh? So, okay. So one of the question is the following, right? Let's take an example, the Rambam, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, which Chachamim say, Mi Moshe ad Moshe, lo kam ke Moshe. Right? You take Moshe Rabbeinu, you take the Rambam, who commented the whole Torah, wrote all the Halachot Yad HaChazaka, right? And many other things. He's the only Rav that wrote Halachot Limot HaMashiach. The Shulchan Aruch doesn't bring Halachot Limot HaMashiach. The Rambam writes also what's going to be Limot HaMashiach in Hilchot Melachim, right? So the question is, he learned so much, he gave over so much, he taught so much, right? The question is, why does the Rambam have to come back B'tchiyat HaMetim? Why, it's not good up there? Why does he have to come back? A person like that. Let's take a step further. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, right? He wrote the Zohar, right? Why does Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai have to come back? He was teaching so much. He wrote a book, Sefer HaZohar. B'zchuto nitzeh ma'galut. We're going to. He needs to come back. All those tzaddikim, right? If you're talking about somebody that didn't learn so much, yes, he has to come back Begilgul. He has to learn more Torah. He never learned. He didn't learn enough. Whatever you want. You can say it, whatever you want. But those gedolim, those tzaddikim that learn so much, what they have to come here? They have yeshiva shel mala. They have the yeshiva shel mala. They don't have to come back. But everybody is going to get up Tchiat HaMetim. The question is, why? Okay? So, the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh, Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh, right? He says the following thing. Okay, what's with the goof? But what do you need the goof? Okay. Yafeh. Let's see, right? Let's see what's going on. Comes the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh. I'm coming to your question. Comes the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh. He has a sefer, he has a commentary on Pirkei Avot called Yarim Moshe. And he says the following thing. He says, we know she'en HaKadosh Baruch Hu mekapeach sachar kol b'riya. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives reward to any creature. Can be a man, can be an animal, can be a stone, can be anything. Any creature that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created in this world has to deserve his sachar. Okay? So he says, the neshama did what she had to do. She had to study, like the Rambam. The neshama had to study, she studied. The Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he said, study. Right? And the goof was a full-time partner. How can you study Torah if you don't have a goof in Ba'olam Hazeh? How can you mitkayem? How can you exist in this world without the guf? Right? Comes out the guf was a full partnership with the neshama. Right? So the guf is the one was responsible to mekayem mitzvot. The neshama cannot put tefillin. The neshama cannot sit in a sukkah. The neshama cannot shake a lulav, right? The neshama cannot eat kosher. All those mitzvot, ma'asiyot, who did it? The guf. So the neshama is profiting now from all the mitzvot that the guf did. She's getting olam haba b'zchut the guf. So she was a full partner. Says the Kosh Baruch Hu, it's not fair that I'm going to leave the neshama over there. She's going to enjoy Torah. She's going to continue studying. Le'enot miziv ha-shekhinah. She's going to enjoy the Shekhinah, the divine presence, right? So it comes out that Hashem is going to bring back the guf to get its reward. That's Tchiyat HaMetim. Tchiyat HaMetim is to give the body a reward for what it did in this world. But then, why are you punishing the neshama? The neshama is to come back again, to be born again, and to go through life again, to have a wife, children, and all kinds. Okay. Maybe not going to have to work, but it's still avoida. It's a big avoida. Says listen, this is a pele. This is the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh. He says, lama tzricha lisbol, right? Lashuv la'olam ha'shafel hazeh. So he says the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh, en achanami. The answer is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes a spark from the neshama, puts machnas laguf, puts it in the guf. This should be good enough to make the guf function, but 99% of the neshama stays up there. So the neshama does not come fully back down here. The neshama is going to send the spark to make the guf live again, to be able to walk, talk, eat, do whatever, hear, see, do whatever it has to do. But the part of the neshama that finished the tikkun stays up there. Why? All this לתן שיקבל הגוף את השכר המגיע לו, בעוד שהנשמה כולה תישאר שם. It's a little bit like the Zohar says. At night, every night, the neshama goes up there to give din v'cheshbon what she did the whole day. Since the person woke up till he went to sleep, what you do? Starting 6 o'clock in the morning, this, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, the neshama chotem is signing, right? Says the Zohar, but if the neshama goes up, how come the guf live, right? Says the Zohar, the Hashem leaves a spark of the neshama in the guf, just enough for the heart to beat. So the heart can still beat, still continue living, but the neshama goes up. Same concept. The neshama stays up after Tchiyat HaMetim. The neshama stays up. Olam HaNeshamot continues studying Torah, the tzaddikim, Gan Eden, and only a part of it comes down to give sachar to the guf, right? So you see, right, that studying Torah, right, studying Torah gives you permission for the next world, Olam Haba, to stay up there, right? But the guf also needs. So Hashem gives the guf its part. So living without Torah, right, has no meaning. It has no meaning living without Torah, right? And that brings the Gemara in Brachot. The Gemara brings over there the story with Rav Akiva and Papus ben Yehuda. Papus ben Yehuda, right, was together with Rabbi Akiva in the same generation, where the Romans said, if we catch somebody studying Torah, we're going to kill him. And they killed Asara Roge Malchut. Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Yishba bar Sofer, Rabbi Hananiah ben Teradion, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beba, all those Geonim, Tzadikim, right? So Papus ben Yehuda asked Rabbi Akiva, why are you risking your life? You're teaching still Torah. You're going to catch it, they're going to kill you. So Rabbi Akiva told him, I'll tell you mashal lema adavar domeh. You know mashal davar domeh? It's like fish. They were swimming in the lake. Comes a fox, he sees them, he wants to eat them. So he tells them, hey, why are you swimming there? You know, soon the people are going to come and they put nets and they're going to catch you and they're going to eat you. Come over here, come with me, I'll protect you. So the fish told them, you're the chacham. If we cannot live in our place in the water, you want us to go on shore when we cannot breathe and to live? Says Rabbi Akiva, if we cannot live with our Torah, you want us to leave the Torah and for sure die on shore? That's what he told them. Eliamim, says the Gemara, came days, both of them were caught. Rabbi Akiva was caught, put in prison. Papus ben Yehuda was caught and put in prison. Both of them were killed by the Romans. But Papus ben Yehuda told Rabbi Akiva before he died, he told him, you know, at least you were caught for teaching Torah. you're going to die because you taught Torah. Pappus Ben Yehuda is going to die because he stopped learning Torah. That's the difference between the two. Pappus Ben Yehuda admits it, right? So why did Rabbi Akiva? Yeah, it's a commentary. Why does Rabbi Akiva compare this mashal with fish? So there's an interesting midrash. Fish have something very special. You put the fish in the ocean. He has all the waters in the world. All the world is in the world. Okay? Then it starts raining. What does the fish do when it starts raining? They go on top of the water and they drink as if they drink the drops that come down. What do you mean? You have so much water, you're missing water. You go up when it's raining, right? Fish teach us something, says the Midrash. As much Torah as you learn, every time you hear a small chidush, you get impressed from it. You want to learn more, right? That's Torah. Torah, how do you know that you are on the right path? That every chidush counts for you. You don't say, I already heard it. No, this chidush is I don't like, right? They say, the Gaon Vilna, one time, somebody came for askama. Why? He wrote a perush, and it says that he wrote a perush on Sidur, and in his commentary, he wrote, you know what's Adon Olam? Adon Olam is very important thing that we say before Tefillah. Sometimes we say Shabbat after Tefillah. There's a lot of secrets in Adon Olam, right? And he says, you know why we say Adon Olam? To bring up the zchut of Avraham Avinu before Tefillah. For those who say before Tefillah. Lama? The Gemara says in Brachot, Lo aya mi shekaro Adon, LaKadosh Baruch Hu, ad sheba Avraham Avinu vekaro Adon. No one addressed himself Hashem to Adon. Hashem's name, Amonai, is two ways to write it. Yud Ke Vav Ke. There's also Aleph Daled, Nun and Yud. Nachon? So it says, no one ever called Hashem Adon, ad sheba Avraham Avinu vekaro Adon. So because Avraham called Hashem Adon, we start Adon Olam, Ken Asher Malach B'terem Kol Nitzin Nivra, right? And why do we say that? Because Avraham Avinu asked Hashem, when there's going to be Bet HaMikdash, Am Israel, when they do sins, they're going to bring a kapara, they're going to bring a korban, chatat, asham, olah, all those things. But, Bet HaMikdash Charav, how are they going to be atoned? How are they going to be forgiven? Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Avraham Avinu, they should learn Torah, they should learn the parasha of Chatat, parasha of Olah, parasha v'chashev lahem, it would be considered for them. So since HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Avraham Avinu about the korbanot, by reading korbanot, you are mechaper al avonot, so that's why we say Adon Olam, to bring up the merit of Avraham Avinu. That's the perush that this person wrote in the beginning of this perush al Sidur. The Gaon Mevilna says, what a chidush. I never saw such a chidush. He was mitpahel, he was like all excited. Somebody asked the Gaon Vilna, what is exciting? That's exciting. You know, to them was the Gaon Vilna. Gaon Vilna, from the age of 12, he started to make chidushim. There are Shas, Mishnayot, so many chidushim. What is he? The Gaon Vilna says, you don't understand. A perush doesn't have to be gematria. A perush has to be emet. This perush that this person wrote is emet. I mitpa'el from the emet of this perush. That's it. It doesn't have to be something chidush anak, something like, he made like a cheshbon, gematria. It doesn't have to be that. If the perush is emet, I mitpa'el. This is how we're supposed to approach Torah. Torah is to be mitpa'el min ha'emet. Every chidush, even something small. Somebody tells you something small, mamash something small. And you say, wow, that's a nice chidush. That's a nice thing, right? That shows already that you appreciate Torah. You're like this fish, that every droplet of water, of rain that comes to the ocean, he has the whole ocean in front of him. Like the Gaon Vilna has the whole ocean. But the droplet of rain comes, he goes up on the surface, and he wants to drink this. That's why Am Yisrael, Yaakov Avinu says, V'idgu larov b'kerev haaretz. So to tell you that Hashem, that Moshe Rabbeinu is teaching us in this parasha, that the main part, lilmod al minat lelamed, amal, right? And the day you cannot do it anymore, lama lo chaim. What do you need life for? Just to eat and drink, right? You see in the Talmud, you see in the Gemara, even Rav Yosef, that learned so much, he had Talmidim, and he forgot his whole Talmud, he was still teaching. He was teaching sometimes not the right thing. Abaye was there to correct him. Hey, Rebbe, you didn't teach us like this. I think you taught us this different way. And Rav Yosef was admit, yeah, you're right. Forgot. But you see, with all this forgetfulness of Torah, he continued teaching. He didn't have as much as Talmidim. Abaye is the only Talmid left, right? But to tell you, look, if you teach when you're young, it's going to keep you up for Yemei HaZikna. When you're going to get older, what are you going to do? Sit down. You see old people, what do they do? They sit down in front of the TV, fall asleep, wake up, see another part, fall asleep. That's life. That's not life. Ziknei Am Haaretz, the more they get older, da'atam mitapeshet alehem. They become more, Hashem Yerachem. There's a story with Rabbi Tzion Abba Shaul. One time he goes on the street, and he has 3 zikanim sitting in a coffee shop. 59! No, 60! I told you it's 60. The other one, 61! And they're screaming. The whole street hears them. He doesn't understand what's going on. He goes over to them. Ma kore po? No, we made a bet. How many cars pass? So I counted 59. He says 60 and 60. Rabbi Tzion Moshe. He says, Matem bazbizim tazman. What are you wasting your time? It's shtuyot. He took the 3 of them. He sat down with them. He started to tell Dvar Torah. He told them, Rabbi Isai, Vaksha, Machar, don't come here to start counting cars and buses. Come to my shiur. And he was getting them to get to listen. Avazet ziknei Am Haaretz. This is Am Haaretz. What Am Haaretz do? He doesn't learn Torah. So he's going to start counting cars in the street. He's going to start counting the droplets of rain. That's his Am Haaretz. אבל זקני תמיד חכמים. כל זמן שמזקינים דעתם מתרבה עליהם. More da'at. He's more חכם. Rav Ovadia, till the last minute, till he couldn't write anymore, he was writing Chidush Torah. And other Geonim also, other Chachamim also. This is what you should hope, that the Zikna, Ativa Acharitenu Mireshitenu. As we get older, Acharitenu should be better than our young age. We should learn more and more and more. And this is what we should want. So בעזרת השם, שנזכה ללמוד ולמד, לשמוע ולעשות. אמן כן ירצה.